Hello, today we're going to be talking about punctuating quoted speech. And by punctuating quoted speech, this is when we want to show someone else's words in writing. Before we start, let's look at a quick video so that we have something to quote.
What's this smell?
I don't smell anything.
Are you serious? You don't smell that?
No, I don't.
You have got to be kidding me.
So, with that conversation between two boys, we had Joe, and he asked the question, what's that smell? If we want to show that question in writing, we've got several options. First, we could say, he asked, comma, and then quotation marks, and then we have a capital letter to introduce the quote. So capital W, what's that smell? Then question mark, and then end quote. Okay, so we have quotes at the beginning and at the end of the words that he said. What's that smell? Make sure that the question mark goes inside the quotation. Okay. Here, in this first one, I have the reporting verb, he asked, before the quote. I can also put that after the quote, if you notice in the second one. What's that smell? Question mark, end quote, he asked. One thing you'll notice with this second one is that he is not capitalized. When I'm using quoted speech, and I have the reporting verb after the quote, we do not need to capitalize the first word there because it's still part of that sentence, even though it's after the question mark. And let's look at the third one. What's that smell? Question mark, end quote, asked Joe. In this one, I have flipped the reporting verb and the subject from he asked to asked Joe. Which sometimes we can do with quoted speech if we put the reporting verb after the quote. Let's take a look at the second line of the video.
What's this smell?
I don't smell anything.
Are you serious? You don't smell that?
No, I don't.
You have got to be kidding me.
So, the first question is, what's that smell? The second line is, I don't smell anything. So in this situation, if we want to change that line to quoted speech, one way to do it would be to say, Bill said, comma, begin quote, capital letter, I don't smell anything, period, end quote. I could also put the reporting verb at the end of the sentence. I don't smell anything, comma, and I use a comma to connect it there, end quote, Bill said. And then in the last one, I can also flip the subject and verb of the reporting part. I don't smell anything, comma, end quote, said Bill. Let's get the third line of that video.
What's this smell?
I don't smell anything.
Are you serious? You don't smell that?
No, I don't.
You have got to be kidding me.
So, what does Joe ask? Joe asked, comma, are you serious? And then we have the question mark, you don't smell that, and then another question mark. So there's two questions, so I have two question marks. One thing to point out here, when your quote is two sentences long, you don't need to end the quote and then start a new quote. You just have quotation marks at the beginning of the quote and then quotation marks at the end of the quote here. And also, once again, make sure the question mark goes inside the quote. And then for the same lines, I can put the reporting verb at the end. If you could see, begin quote, are you serious? Question mark. You don't smell that? Question mark, end quote, asked Joe. Another way we can do this, because I have two sentences, and this is a little bit new, is we can put the reporting verb in the middle. If you notice here, I have, are you serious? Question mark, end quote, asked Joe. And then I'll put a period there to mark that that's one sentence. And then we'll have a new quote with quotation mark, capital letter for you. You don't smell that. Question mark, end quote. So I can put the reporting verb at the beginning, at the end, or it can be right here in the middle. Let's look at how Bill replies.
What's this smell?
I don't smell anything.
Are you serious? You don't smell that?
No, I don't.
You have got to be kidding me.
So, how did Bill reply? Bill replied, no, comma, I don't. This, in the second one, will be a little different from something we've done before, where we interrupt a sentence with the reporting verb. So we have no, comma, end quote, Bill responded, and then a comma, and then a new quote, I don't. And in this situation, we'll link the two quotes between no and I don't with a comma because it's the continuation of a sentence. Okay? And at the bottom, you can see where we put the reporting verb at the end. No, I don't, comma, Bill answered. You'll also notice with these, I've changed the reporting verbs. In the earlier ones, I put asked and said, but here we have replied, responded, answered. You can make your writing a lot more interesting and more colorful if you use different reporting verbs that help to tell the story. I think we have one more line of this video. We'll listen one more time.
What's this smell?
I don't smell anything.
Are you serious? You don't smell that?
No, I don't.
You have got to be kidding me.
Okay, that last line, what did Joe say? You have got to be kidding me. And when he says that, he's a little excited. So I've included an exclamation point in this one. So here we have Joe said, comma, begin quote, capital letter, you have got to be kidding me. The second one, I've put the reporting verb in the middle. You, comma, end quote, Joe accused, have got to be kidding me. And in this one, you can see, as I've put the quote in the middle of the sentence, or I put the reporting verb in the middle of the sentence, I don't have to capitalize have right here because it's the continuation of a sentence. And I've also changed the reporting verb. In the first one, I used said, and the second one, accused, a more interesting reporting verb. And for the last one, I've moved the reporting verb to the end. You've got to be kidding me. Exclamation point, end quote, exclaimed Joe. So I used a different reporting verb there. Another thing to notice with the last one, I don't have a capital E with exclaimed. That's because it's connecting with the quote, so it's really not starting a new sentence. So if I put all of this together, this is what this conversation would look like in written out form, all put together. We have, what's that smell? Asked Joe. And then a new paragraph. Bill replied, I don't smell anything. And then another new paragraph. Joe did not believe Bill and demanded, are you serious? You don't smell anything? And then another paragraph. No, I don't, answered Bill. And then another paragraph. You, Bill accused, have got to be kidding me. Now, as you look at this, you'll notice the paragraphs are very short. One paragraph's only one line. When we're reporting a conversation and we're using quotes to show what people said, we start a new paragraph every time the speaker changes. That helps the reader to know that it's a different person talking. It makes your writing a little more clear and a little more easier to understand. I hope this helps you understand a little bit more about quoted speech, and thank you very much for listening.